Header, we're going to start out with a width of 1500 and a height of 500. That's the default size for a Twitter header. That's what Twitter itself actually allows. If I were to show you, like, let's see if Twitter will show us what we're looking at. If you go to, I'm not sure if Twitter actually tells you. No, it doesn't. Does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. So, I mean, this looks bigger, but that's because it's not because it is, it's just because it really is. Kind of blows it up a tiny bit, but that's usually the size of it. Make it do a Black Ops 3 one. We could do a simple Black Ops 3 Twitter background. So normally when I start out the background layer, which for some reason my windows pop over on another screen. I don't know why. So we're just gonna make the background layer a simple dark gray as such, and then we'll start out with the image that we're gonna use as the background base. So we'll go to Google. Well, we could do the division. We'll do the division. The division. Let's do gameplay. Images. Now, whenever you search for images, just make sure you look for large. That's what I do. You usually get what you're kind of looking for. I really like this image. I use it on another one of my projects. So we're going to take this, just copy it, simple copy, and Control V. So this will be the attempted background. Now, properly naming your layers is a key to designing. I have the tendency not to do it because I don't, and it screws you over once you make, like, maybe you're like 30 layers in and you don't know what layer's what, because it'll all say layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and etc., and you don't know which one's what. And it's kind of hard to see the previews of them. So we're going to start with this. Go next. To make a cool, decent lighting, we're going to create a new layer. You know, also Control Shift N, which I don't do. We're going to name this layer light. Let's just go lighting. And to add simple lighting, we're just going to use a normal brush. Turn the hardness down to 0. Let's create. Yeah, that'll work. So this, then we're going to select a white. So just go full white and just like that. Now, as you can see, it makes it look like that. So we're going to bring this lighting down here. So we drag the lighting behind the division background layer that I'm using, and we're going to set the division background to, let's find something that looks kind of decent here. And go with hard light. Yeah, we'll use hard light, and now what we're going to do after that is we're going to black and white this whole image. Now with black and white, this black and white layer, you can adjust like certain colors to make certain colors appear more brighter than others. Like your reddish tints can be white, or you can make them black. So we're just going to adjust the lighting to make it look like it's a little bit more fit for the image. This way you get the correct lighting out of this. Alright, we're going to go with that. So what's next is we can either start with the text on the header itself, or we can start with adding more design into the background base of it. Really, I usually start out with the text. To get your center lines, you got to make sure you have. You can do multiple different ways. You can add your grid, or you can just show. Oh shit! I got rid of that. That doesn't matter. Or you can show rollers. Your rollers are what you're gonna base your center points off of, if you just click and drag off of this left bar, you can drag over until it snaps into the center, which for some reason mine's not snapping in the center. I think it's because I took off pixel grid. Yeah, so I got that in the center. See how that like hopped? How's it going, Blush? How you doing, Red? So now once we have the center marking out, right here's the dead center of the picture. We're gonna use a random name. Let's just say division. Did I even spell division right? Division. Alright. Now since most of you guys, if you guys are new to Photoshop, you guys don't have a lot of fonts, we're gonna use just a normal font that you should have on your computer. Let's go with something really simple that everybody should have on their computer, like Impact. We'll use the text Impact. So now we dragged this text layer in a dead center, and we adjusted it to the size that we're probably going to need and everything. Now we're going to hide all of these grid marks, and next we can go through and add in a little bit more flare into the background. This way we can make this text pop out a little bit more. So an easy way of doing that is first we can add in drop shadow to our text. Now as you can see, like this drop shadow definitely adds a little bit more in the background for the text to pop out. This way it looks a little bit more visible. Since our background is white right now, white and black. Next we're gonna add a little bit of, we'll add a color overlay here. So basically all I did was I went to hue and added this overlay. So we're gonna go with the blue. I like blues. It's more of purple. We'll use a light colored blue here, not like too much, just a little bit. And we'll use a simple, for this we'll add a simple type of background. We're gonna use like a lighting background. Just look up colored lights. And then we just gotta kind of find an overlay that kind of gives a little bit more. And I don't like this pink over here in his face, so we're gonna adjust this color overlay on this by just simply going to hue and playing around with it, see what we can get out of it. Maybe we can even go by one tone. See, now the issue with this is, with it being on soft light, we're not seeing the difference on it. What did I just do? How did you make the background see-through? So with the background, all I did was I went to the overlay on like the layer, and I go in here and I just, you can adjust to what type of like tool you want to use. So like for instance, we're on screen, so basically it screens out the black. Different ones screen out different type of things. They like make different things pop out. And then you can adjust the opacity and the fill on them just to whatever looks good, to be honest. Actually, I don't know if I like these bubbles, but we can keep them there. So now we're gonna add in a few more images. So like I said, this is gonna be a basic tutorial on just adding images without using brushes and other types of pattern tools that you can download, which gets a little bit more advanced. But they do make a lot of things look a lot more cleaner. So now we're gonna just look up a tech background. Let's go high tech. So we're using bits and pieces from other types of, images to make things look pretty snazzy, I guess you could say. Let's start out with this right here. Add this in here, and we're gonna bring this down a layer, and we will add it there. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a brush. Actually, I'm going to duplicate this layer. See how I'm already messing up on my layer names. So we're going to change this to bubbles. This is going to be high tech. Alright, so now in this high tech layer, I'm using a simple brush, just a circular brush with a 0 hardness. Change the opacity about 50%-ish. It doesn't really matter. If you use 100%, it's going to erase everything. But if you use 50%, it's going to like slowly erase because it's not obviously erasing everything. So we're just going to erase some of the parts so it kind of blends in a lot of this stuff. This way we can get some decent effect into this. So actually what I'm doing right now is I'm erasing everything that's not on this gun. So it kind of makes the gun look like it has that on it. So here's so that's kind of what the background, we can keep the background as that for right now. To add in a little bit more flair to this text though, we can simply hold control. You're gonna click on your division layer or your text layer. You're gonna click select. This is what I do with pretty much all my text. I actually love doing this to my text because it makes it look like it's, I don't know how to describe it, you'll see what I mean. Depending on the size of the text or how thick it is, depends on how many pixels you're going to contract this by. We're going to try 2 and see if that's too much. No, that actually looks pretty fine. So zoom in real quick. So what I did is I contracted it, so we're only selecting what's inside of that, what's highlighted. Create a new layer. We're going to use this as text overlay. And now you're going to click on your rectangular marquee, I think it's marquee, I think that's how you say it. And then this one right here on the top left, I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing. It's the third one. I don't really know what it does. It selects the opposite, or it deselects whatever you select in that region. So what I'm doing is I'm deselecting that. Since I already made the new layer, you're going to go and add in a darker black gray and just paint it there. So now it looks like that. And what I normally do is I go through with a eraser, the same thing as we did in the background, about 50%, a smaller brush, and just slowly erase some of this, not a whole lot, just randomly. This way it kind of like gets rid of some of your lines, but it gives you like your text like a little pop out feel to it. This way, if you're to like change the color of your text, say we make it blue, it gives it that cool like fade look to it, and it makes it pop out a bit. So that's with that. I want to keep it white for right now. Actually, we're going to make it a off-white. So let's change. Oh shit. Let's change this to about here. Now next, if you want to add in like your images for like your social media or whatever, you're gonna add in like, you know, say Instagram. Your Twitch. And your, say, YouTube. As you see, we can't even see what the hell's going on with this. So we're gonna copy what we have on the we're gonna copy the layer style we have from the main text, and we're just gonna paste it on the other ones. Let's see, now that doesn't look right. So we're just gonna adjust these drop shadows so it kind of fits underneath the text a little bit better. Remove a little bit of the spread on them. Copy that, paste them on all of them. Another little simple trick I like to add to some of these overlays is just creating a new layer, and we're going to call this text line. Is make a simple like rectangle over the like area where your text is going to be, and just filling in with a dark color. Doesn't really matter what color. You can actually probably make it blue, and we can try to make it blue here. Let's make it a darker blue. And then, so you can see that it looks ugly as shit. We're gonna erase the sides the same way as we did on everything else. Just erase the sides so it looks like it fades in there a little bit. And then just change the opacity down. So the next thing would be to add the little images in where your text is going to be. So like your Twitch logo and your YouTube logo and stuff like that, which you can easily just pull up the images off of Google. So we're just going to go YouTube logo, images. And with these, you want to make sure they're a PNG, because most of the time the PNGs are going to have no background on them. So I don't know where this saved. Let's see. Edit. We're going to scale it down a little bit more. I don't really like this YouTube logo, but it'll work. We're going to colorize it, or add color to it. Just do color overlay. We're going to make it a blue so it matches. And just set it to color. And then maybe add an outer glow to it. Make it a white. Set to normal. Change down the opacity a bit. So now we can add in the Twitch and everything else. Twitch logo. I have no clue where it's saved. Totally think it's saved to my desktop. I don't know why. Yeah, it did. See, now this is when you get into the issues where the white background's there. So delete the white background. All you can do is duplicate that layer, hide this background layer, and just simply go to this. You can set the tolerance to about 30-ish, and just select and delete, select and delete. Most of the time you get a clean cut on your borders. As you can see, like on this, there's still a little bit of white on there, which is fine because all we have to do is add in a color overlay on that, because we're going to make it blue anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to copy the YouTube layer overlay, or the not the overlay but the blending options on it, and simply just paste it on there. So you can see it kind of looks a little bit ugly because the outer glow on it. So we're going to tune down that outer glow a bit. At least that way it's still popping out a little bit, but not too much. Actually, you can still see the white on that. So if we set this to normal, it colors everything. Next, we gotta add in the Instagram image. Instagram logo. We're gonna go with this one. Where are you at, Instagram logo? Am I blind? Oh, there it is. So same thing with this one. Just duplicate the layer, hide the background layer, erase everything that's white. Go back to this, scale it down to about something that looks about right. You want to kind of make it close to the other image's size, like see how much bigger that is right now. Scale, shrink it down a tiny bit. And then we're going to paste that onto there. Blending options. How's it going? Reloaded. Set this to normal. Your outer glow, we're just going to simply tune it down a tiny bit. See now how that looks really ugly though? We're going to try something else here. Let's make this outer glow black. Tune up the opacity there. So this is your Instagram logo. This is your Twitch logo. YouTube logo. Now with these, to center them, you can simply select all your layers. Just shift, click on this top one, shift the whole way down. Now I selected a division in there too, which is not the one I wanted. So we're going to center this here, just right there. It pretty much snaps into place in the center most of the time, especially if you have in these, not the grid, wow. If you go to show, you show your extras, it'll snap on that extra line you have there. Why do I keep deleting or getting rid of the stuff that I don't need? So next we're gonna do is add a, how do I put it? We're gonna add in a background layer on this to darken the edges of the screen or the image. That way it kinda molds in the focus to just the text itself. All we gotta do is get the circular marquee tool, and we're just gonna go like this, click and drag until we get something that we wanna look at. Which I'd say about right there. And then you're gonna select modify, you're gonna select inverse. And then you're gonna modify feather. Feathering, what feathering does, it's kind of like adding a softness to a brush. It's gonna allow you to, whenever you say use your paint tool, or your fill tool, it's only gonna fill. It's gonna fill into like a gradient overlay in the center. So we're gonna set to about 50. Create a new layer. We're gonna drag this layer down above our bubbles layer, because our bubbles layer is our top layer for the background. We're gonna say black box or black circle, and then we're just simply going to go like this. See how that gets rid of the background a bit? And now we're gonna change the opacity on this just slightly. So you can still see the edges of the screen, but it's really hard to see, like especially over here on this left side. Now to add a bit more flair to this image, we're gonna see about adding an actual lens flare. Let's go to Google and just type in lens flare. And then you pretty much can just browse through here and find a lens flare that you like, but this one's really simple, so we're going to use it. So you just copy it, paste it. Yes, you have the black background on it, but we're going to select a positioning that we like on this. I think it's more lighted over here. Set this to screen. And then we're going to bring this up above our division layer, that way it kind of goes over top of the text. And then we can move this a bit to where it fits over that. Now there isn't really much left we can do on this. This is a pretty simple overlay or header. We can add in a So this is a part of designing that I don't like, is like looking at something and you don't know what else you need to add into it. There isn't really, like I said, there isn't really much else we can add into it to spice it up without me going into more complex ideas. But just to get your basics down and like using simple stuff that you can pull off of Google and not use any brushes or anything else that you don't need. This is pretty much it with all the layers here. I think we named all our layers properly. Oh, name this one lens flare. We can try to add in a new hue layer up on top though. Let's see if we can get. So if you do that, you can change your colors up a bit to get what you want. You can even add in, say you don't like the lens flare coloring this part, you can erase it over here. So we make that all blue. And then we can try to color maybe his face blue. Nah. We'll just keep it the way it is. So I mean that's pretty much a simple Twitter header here, saying that it's not too complex, you know. It's very, how would I say it, like simple without going into using additional brushes. Like if I were to add in like this, or adding extra stuff into it to make it more complex and add more layer to it, more feel, and get into more complex stuff like this. This is where I actually used I want to say I used about 30 some layers going into the background, going into using different pen tools and stuff like that. Yeah, this is just a simple Twitter header, and I'm gonna actually save this as a PSD for you guys. Graphics series 1. And then this is going to be uploaded to YouTube. That way you guys can go ahead and you can actually download this, and then you can see what I did exactly. I'm also going to upload this video on YouTube. If you guys have any other questions about this here itself, just let me know. We can go into it in more depth.